Who is stronger, the Doomslayer or the Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40K? Hello everyone, how's it going? Today I have a sort of death battle video on who would be stronger, the Doomslayer or the Emperor. Quick thing, I know that the thumbnail uses the Dark Ages design for the Doomslayer, but we're actually going to be using the Doom Eternal Doomslayer because that was the Doomslayer at his peak strength, and he's going to need all of his strength because the Emperor is really powerful. Heads up, I'd like to hit 500 subscribers before the first DLC for Dark Ages comes out, so if anyone would like to subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. So anyway, let's get into the video. Alright, so when we look at both these characters, we're not going to look at any bullshit. No plot armor, no backstory. We're just going to be looking at the characters themselves. So let's begin. So, starting off with the Doomslayer. The Doomslayer is an outer-versal being, which means he ranks above space and time and dimension itself. He's literal eons old. He spent eons in hell, and by that we can decree that his kill count is probably somewhere in the quintillions. He's killed many demigod-type characters throughout the games and even the lore, those being the Champion Titan, the Conmaker, Samuel Hayden aka the Seraphim, and the Icon of Sin, probably amongst many others. He's also killed a few gods, those being Cthulhu, Enhanced Azaric, and Devoth. Now, let's look at his arsenal. He's got an incredibly varied arsenal. He's got assault rifles, shotguns, chainsaws, chain guns, plasma guns, frag grenades, freeze grenades. He's got special weapons like the Unmaker, the BFG, the Crucible. He's got a lot that he could use against the Emperor. And the most important part of his weapons is not what the weapon actually is, but it's that his, canonically, his power is channeled through the weapons he uses. So he can pick pretty much any weapon up, and his strength will be channeled throughout the weapon. He's also got a very good set of armor, as it's completely immune to conventional weaponry, and it also heals the Doomslayer if he needs it. The Doomslayer is very strong, as he can carry all of his weapons and his armor and still run at 100 miles per hour. He's also very durable, as we literally see him destroy the soul of God right in front of him, and it does nothing to him. Outside of runes and magic-infused guns, we don't really see the Doomslayer using any sort of magic, or at least like traditional magics like spells or such. In terms of experience, there's probably few people in all of fiction that have as much experience as the Doomslayer. The Doomslayer has been, like I said earlier, the Doomslayer has been in hell for eons. He is literally billions of years old. If there's one thing the Doomslayer knows how to do, it's legitimately how to kill something. That's all the information that we need on the Doomslayer. Now we can move on to the next segment, that being the Emperor of Mankind. Heads up, I got most of my lore for this video from Major Kill, Astartes Anonymous, and just straight up Google, so if I got any lore wrong, I apologize. Anyways, let's begin. The Emperor of Mankind is an outer-versal being, just like the Doomslayer, so we're on the same level in terms of dimensional level when it comes to both these characters. The Emperor is incredibly powerful. He is what is referred to as a Psyker. Now, a Psyker is just 40K's definition of a sorcerer or a sorceress. He is the most powerful Psyker in the entire setting. He also only uses 2 weapons, but those weapons are unbelievably powerful, those being his Fire Sword and his Lightning Claw. In stark contrast to the Doomslayer, who doesn't use any sorcery and uses multiple different weapons. The Emperor's Sword also has the ability to destroy the soul of demons and chaos followers. This is not something that should usually be able to happen, as demons just don't die in 40k. They usually just get banished back to the warp. So his ability to destroy the souls of demons, it's nothing to scoff at. The Emperor's psychic might is also channeled through his weapons, so just like the Doomslayer, his godlike powers will channel through his weapons. He's also really fast, as he can go at the speed of sound. That's going to be really difficult to counter in a fight. The Emperor is also incredibly smart. His intelligence and his genius is just as impressive, if not more so, than his actual fighting capabilities. With limited resources, he was able to develop the Adeptus Custodes. Later, he was able to develop the Adeptus Astartes, which are the Space Marines, and the Primarchs. The Emperor also cannot die, at least not in the traditional sense, as he's what is referred to as a perpetual. A perpetual in the 40k universe is somebody who cannot die of physical harm in any way. you can destroy their soul, and that's the only way to properly kill a perpetual, but a perpetual cannot die from physical harm. And we don't know if the Doomslayer can, like, actually obliterate a soul. And speaking on that, the Emperor actually does have the ability to obliterate a soul, like what he did with Horus during the end of the Horus Heresy, when he obliterated his soul, destroying him completely and utterly. Speaking of Horus, we know that the Emperor is as strong as multiple gods, as in his fight with Horus, Horus was empowered by all 4 of the Chaos Gods, and the Emperor was able to defend himself against him for a good amount of time. That very fight was so catastrophic, they were literally warping reality itself. They were fighting through history, through time, through space. That fight showed us what a god versus the Emperor would look like. There's also a different form of the Emperor, that being the Dark King. The Dark King is what the Emperor would have become if he drank from the warp and ascended to a higher form of godhood. The Dark King would probably have been near all-powerful, and I'm going to say it right here now, the Doomslayer would not have been able to beat the Dark King. So I just wanted to state that we're not going to scale the Dark King in this video, but I just wanted to bring him up. Anyways, now let's move on to the actual fight. The fight would begin by both of them standing their ground and staring deeply at each other. The Emperor would first offer a sort of alliance or a friendship with the Doomslayer, as he would see the Doomslayer sort of like how he sees his Primarchs, as a tool for war. The Doomslayer would not take this, as the Doomslayer would see the Emperor as what he is, an evil dictator who rules through violence and fear that murders innocent people. The Doomslayer would not accept this alliance, and thus the battle would start. The Doomslayer would immediately try to take out his super shotgun and shoot the Emperor. The Emperor, being as fast as the speed of sound, would dodge it and try and close the distance between him and the Slayer. Aside from his Psyker abilities, the Doomslayer does not have any ranged weapons, so of course he's going to want to get as close as he can to the Doomslayer. The diversity of the Doomslayer's arsenal is not going to help him here, as the Emperor is going to be really up close to him most of the fight, so he's probably going to be limited to only his close range weapons, like the super shotgun, the combat shotgun, the Unmaker, weapons like that. The Doomslayer would eventually just stop using guns altogether and switch to the Crucible, as the Emperor is going to be conjuring a lot of psychic magic like lightning, lasers, fireballs, flamethrowers during the fight, while using his lightning claw and his sword. The Doomslayer would find it really overwhelming and will just try to focus on melee combat. The Doomslayer would be so completely and utterly overwhelmed with the Emperor's strength, as the Emperor is much larger than he is, has weapons that are far bigger and far more powerful than what he has, and on top of that he has his psychic magic like lightning, as I stated earlier, that the Doomslayer would have to dodge and weave against. This, with the Emperor's speed, it would just prove way too much for the Doomslayer to handle. The Doomslayer at some point during the fight would start noticing a pain in his chest, a sort of piercing but also flaming hot pain. He'll look down to look at what's happened, and he'll notice the Emperor's flaming sword gouged deep into his chest. He'll then look up, and then the Emperor will stare deeply into his eyes and obliterate his soul. The Emperor of Mankind wins. So, why does the Emperor win? Well, it's because he's better at most of the things the Doomslayer can do. The Doomslayer is really powerful, but unfortunately, the Emperor is far more powerful in comparison. The Emperor is not just faster, but has far more abilities. While he doesn't have as much weapons as the Doomslayer, he limits the Doomslayer's actual arsenal with his combat style. The Doomslayer cannot use most of his weapons, as the Emperor is going to be in his face most of the time, so he's going to be limited to a few weapons compared to how much he actually has. Plus, the Emperor is just way too big for the Doomslayer. The thing is, the Emperor's sword is probably as big as the Doomslayer himself, and the Doomslayer's Crucible isn't even that large in comparison. The Crucible is also really not that powerful, as compared to the Emperor's sword, the Crucible is nothing. The Crucible can't even properly kill a Titan. The thing about Titans is that the Crucible's blade doesn't kill it, it just stops it from moving. The Emperor's sword can permanently kill demons. There's a big difference between the two. The Emperor did get wounded once to a demon called Draknian, but he still completely fucked Draknian up by turning him into a sword. And the Emperor The Emperor did also almost die to Horus, but Horus was empowered by 4 fucking Chaos Gods, so it's nothing to scoff at. The Emperor is just way too powerful for the Doomslayer. I tried, I really did, but I really don't think there's a way the Doomslayer can kill the Emperor. Maybe he could wound him, at most. Maybe he can wound him pretty badly. I doubt he'll be able to wound him as bad as Horus did, but I don't know. He's not gonna win. There's just no way. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry this video took so long. I just, like I said in my posts, somebody I really love died, and I was just not in a good mood to like make videos. But I did manage to get this one out, and I had a good time working on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's all I have for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.